Fish on Fridays. I'm Al McCauley, and I want to talk today about one of those episodes from the New Testament that appears in all four Gospels. And believe it or not, it's relatively rare for something like this to happen. It's usually in one Gospel or two or three, but maybe not all four. And so this is an event that's worth talking about, and I want to talk about specifically the inanimate object that's involved with this event. And what I'm referring to is the story of Jesus being anointed by a woman with oil, with costly oil. And you may remember this story. Now, it comes to us in all four Gospels in different times and in different ways. We're told, for instance, that it's an unnamed woman, an unknown woman. We're told in another story that it's Mary of Bethany. And we're told in Luke's Gospel that it's a sinful woman. That's how she's referred to. But what's clear about all four renderings or illustrations of the story in all four Gospels is that this woman shows this lavish gesture on Jesus by anointing his feet with her tears, but also with this costly oil or costly fragrant oil. Now, what's interesting too is in three of the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, the woman carries this oil in what's called an alabaster jar. John's Gospel is just a flask. We don't hear the word alabaster, but it's important to focus in on the alabaster jar, and I'll explain why as we go along here. Alabaster was somewhat expensive, number one, and partly because it was relatively translucent. It was a very fragile thing, but it was also translucent. What that means is someone who is putting oil in it or perfume or whatever you put in it, you could hold it up to the light and you could see through it and you would know exactly how much you have left. And so it had a certain value for people, so they would know when to have to get refilled their oil or their perfume or whatever they've got in that jar. And what we're told specifically, and I want to focus in on Mark's version of the story, Mark chapter 4, verses 3 to 9, we're told that Jesus is in Bethany. Now, Bethany is just outside of Jerusalem, less than 2 miles from Jerusalem. So this is an event that prefigures his eventual death, an anointing, if you will, when he's going to be laid in the tomb. And so that's why it's such an important story. But the woman comes in Mark's version of the gospel, she breaks open the alabaster jar. Now, why is that important? It's important for a lot of reasons, but I think it's really key that we recognize that she was willing to break open everything she had. This oil, this aromatic thing that she had, perfumed oil, had to have been expensive. The jar itself had to have been expensive, and she was willing to break it open and lavishly use it to anoint Jesus's feet. This is an extravagance that was unheard of. In fact, we know in the story, if you're familiar with the story, the apostles and specifically Judas take kind of a problem with this. They say, whoa, this is a waste. We could have used this, sold it, and fed a lot of people and all that kind of stuff. And Jesus rightly says, hey, you'll always have the poor to take care of. But she doesn't always, you won't always have me. And she's doing something it's not only important, it's something Jesus says in Mark's gospel. It'll be remembered through history. Every time we talk about Jesus, this woman's action will be told. And again, it's in all four gospels. So clearly it's an important thing. But this idea, it seems like a small thing, but I think it's got some lessons there for us. How extravagant am I with my humility? How extravagant am I with my love of others? We've all been gifted in so many ways and graced by God. How eager am I to share it? Will I break open what I have to share so that the oil, the fragrance of my gifts will be known and seen and felt and smelled by everybody? What am I holding on to that God may be asking me to release or to break open for him, for his sake, for his kingdom? What's in my alabaster jar? What is it that you hold in your alabaster jar, the jar of your heart that you don't want anybody to know about, you don't want to let go of, you want to selfishly cling to? We all have these things that we need to, it could be your best or your worst, but you have these things that we need to break open and offer to Christ. And when we do that, we will be remembered for this. We will be remembered by Christ for it. And it kind of reminds me of the miracle of the loaves and the fishes. When we break open, when we give of our few loaves and fishes, miracles can happen. Abundant miracles can happen. So my lesson for you today would be to think about that prayerfully. What is it that I'm holding on to that I need to give to God? And then I would challenge you to break open your own alabaster jar and to be extravagant in your humility and your love for Jesus in how you treat others and how you interact with others. So there you go. A little bit of a preachy episode today, but I thought it was an important one, and I wanted to talk about the symbolism of the alabaster jar. So thanks for watching. If you want to share this content, that would be great. If you'd like to subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow us on Facebook, we'd appreciate that. But either way, we hope you will keep tuning in every Friday for Fish on Fridays. Until next time, please be good to each other, and God bless.